Here's 3-time daytime Emmy winner Chandler Massey. Super power couple Will and Sonny are. I mean, the looks they give each other with not so much, spoken words. It's just how they look at each other. And even when they do speak, just the devastation of them potentially being torn apart. Will leaving Sonny behind and Sonny trying to be strong for Will. These are all great beats that play into classic soap opera superpower couples. So
Yes.
Did you feel that kind of when you guys do the scenes?
So, I mean, I think with Freddie, it's just a sense of like uninterrupted connection. And I think that's why, people watch the show respond to Will and Sonny's, because they really are two kindred spirits who lean on each other. And it was really difficult but enjoyable to go through that, like Will's journey with Sonny right there, because Sonny's presence made it all the more complex and sort of tragic.
We've talked about this before, where Freddie will say he just looks at you and goes right into, from you guys joking around, and flips right into "I love you."
Yeah.
Like, how is it for you to flip into Will mode with?
You don't even really think about it. Mm-hmm. Like it's an automatic. We've been doing it for so long at this point that we really can go from like right at the 3, 2, 1 count, like the countdown, where we're cracking some joke, to immediately going into romance. So,
but isn't that great? I mean, like, you're able to do that. Like, I don't think a lot of people can. I guess some actors can do that on daytime, I suppose.
I think it came with like experience and practice and learning each other and just doing scene after scene after scene, getting comfortable enough to trust each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, of course, Will proposes to Sonny, and Gabby is thrilled for them. And then you have this really kind of funny, sad scene with Camila Banus and the two of you in the hospital. Do you remember taping that scene?
I do, yeah.
What did you guys, were you guys laughing during that? Or how did
that's what was great about that scene, because even in the middle of this like oppressive situation where you don't really find there's no hope to be had, Gabby, like Camilla, can come in with Gabby sort of lighten the mood a little bit, and have this moment where like, well, your life's not over yet. You can still enjoy the last few moments that you have, So yeah, that I really liked how those played out.
I mean, she comes like, oh, and she hugs the two of you.
She
like,
comes in a big ball of energy. Yeah, because Will and Sonny both are very, more Sonny than Will, but at times sort of like soft-spoken, typically gentle-hearted and mellow, and then Gabby is this huge, this fiery, like has so much energy. So it's always fun to like throw her into the mix, and especially in like emotional scenes like that.
And they've never really forgotten that they have a child together.
No,
Will and Gabby.
Oh, they love each other.
They love each other.
Yeah,
I mean, they love each other through everything.
Yeah.
Even all the horrible things Gabby's done, Will is still.
Yeah, they love each other. They're not trying to sleep with each other anymore, but they still. Yeah.
Well, I said, oh no.
Yeah.
Allison Sweeney and Brian DiTillo came back to the show.
Yes.
When Will was dying, and as he prepares to die, what was it like having them back? And then this is your on-screen mother and father, who you've had so many scenes with.
Yeah.
And now they come back, you see them again, and how was that to tape those scenes?
I mean, it's really, I'm grateful to them. Salem becomes so much more compelling of a place when Allie and Brian are there. And of course, like selfishly, they're my on-screen mom and my dad. Like every moment I get to spend with them in a scene, Will feels whole. So I was really, really happy that they came back, and I hope they'll come. I mean, I hope they'll come back again.
Please come back again
every day. Yeah.
I mean, I just recall remember when Will first came back, when you came back after the whole debacle in Memphis.
Bartender in
Memphis. And remember, she was trying to get Will to remember her, and when she left town and had to leave him and said that goodbye. I don't think Allison Sweeney's ever been better than in these scenes with you, where it's his mother who can't connect with her son because he can't remember her.
Yeah, I think that's the like Sammy at her peak, at like her truest self is trying to force love into somebody else.
Like, love me.
Yeah.
Of course, Will's other strong relationship is with his grandmother, Marlena.
Yes.
And we've talked about this. When Marlena finds out he's dying, he tells her he's dying.
Yes.
What was it like taping that scene with Deidre? And then, of course, you've had this enduring relationship, Marlena and Will. Each day, each episode was like, I open it and read it, and like, this is another heavy, stuff.
I think the dynamic, at least that I tried to infuse into that scene, was that Will was actually, his concern for how Marlena would feel actually trumped his own feelings of fear and like self-pity. Like in that moment, he never wants to say anything that makes Marlena upset, and yet he has to say something that would probably, break her, like truly break her heart, and I think Deidre played that beautifully. I mean, she's a master at, because Marlena's such a strong person. She's a master at showing a strong exterior, but just having true like pain leaking out of her eyes that you can't, you know what I mean? And that's so compelling to watch,
100%.
the struggle of trying to stay in control. So I was really grateful to have those scenes with her.
Viewers saw the scene where Will crosses over to the light with the help of Caroline, and at the time, the audience does not know why he's seeing this, and then we learn Caroline died as the show honors the late Peggy McKay. What can you tell me about playing those scenes, how it was taped, and your thoughts on Peggy McKay?
Well, I really liked the Brady Pub being like his purgatory.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice balance of like, great family memories, but also like he had to work there, so I'm sure he also hated the place, like so.
He did.
And there was this sort of fog all over the ground, and the lighting was so different than usual, and those scenes were great, and I really liked that they left it sort of ambiguous, because it's up for the viewer to decide, like, did Will really go to some place and meet the real Peggy? Was it just a hallucination that's sort of typical of like, or at least death stage, basically. So I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was great for Will because, he believes it really happened, that he went there to the other side. And that allowed him to get closure unlike anybody else. He was the last one to talk to Grandma Caroline, and exchange love. And I was so grateful to be able to play those scenes because I immensely enjoyed Peggy. She was such like a cornerstone of the cast, of the Brady family and the Horton, and I miss her, so it was emotional as well.
I'm so glad you got that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's those little things that, as an actor on a show, when you've been playing a part, they give you these little nuggets that are so special for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess it gave you the ball to do that.
You're able to, through the interactions of the characters, create some sort of bond with the human that you're, that you're on, and that's what's cool about acting in general, I feel like.
So lo and behold, thanks to none other than Xander, Dr. Rolf's diary appears containing the formula and the antidote to save Will on the day of Caroline's wake. What did you think about how Will was saved and at the same time of the sadness of losing Caroline? I mean, they kind of really balance it out kind of beautifully, poetically, right?
Yes.
I think.
I think it is. It's great. It's another great example of the process, the journey of life. You know, you have death and you have like rebirth, and Will certainly was very happy that that he was able to receive the he was pretty pumped about being.
He's like, yay!
Yeah. But at the same time, not forgetting, you know, there are like others like Grandma Caroline who weren't so, you know, lucky. They pass and they don't come back, you know. So you got to treasure them while they're there.
So June is Pride Month in many cities in the U.S. and abroad, and this summer has many Pride festivals. Do you still continue to receive tweets, emails, correspondences on how Will has touched so many lives, either people that help them come out, shown that love is love, that he has this enduring same-sex relationship? Have you know, what's still happening with you years later?
Absolutely. I'll receive mostly, I mean, I'm most accessible on Twitter, so I'll read a lot of things that people will send me messages or like mentions or something. And it is incredible that this story has been going on for, golly, when did, like
2011?
Yeah,
11?
like 8.
I feel like 8 years. I want to say,
and it still makes a difference to people. So that's every time I read, you know, a note, like a tweet from somebody of that nature, like it really warms my heart, and it fills my tank back up to like go into work and like give it my all the next, you know what I mean? Sometimes, because it's easy to feel some weeks just sort of burnt out, you know, but having a reminder that what you're doing is actually making a difference to somebody, that gives you the energy and the mental fortitude to soldier.
Yeah. In closing, in the coming out storyline, was that your favorite all-time Will story or something else?
Yeah, for sure.
That was really it.
Right? That every day I would come to work during that with during that storyline, so terrified. So nervous, and just like every one of my nerves was tingling, just that whole day, because I knew this was it. Like I was in it. You know, I wanted. You dream of having like like telling a compelling story as an actor, and I got it, and I didn't want to, and I wanted to do everything in my power to do it right. So yeah, that for sure. I'll always look back on that story as like that was.
Well, I think I can say with 100% confidence you did that story right. And as always, it's always so great to talk to you. So will you stick around and do some Can't Miss clips?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's do that.
No.
Do you remember taping the retape? Because you had to retape the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Because Guy Wilson was playing at the time, and do you remember him choking you like?
Yeah, I do. Those were actually those were intense scenes. Yeah.
Did you like those scenes? Or were you like, please don't choke me to death with this necktie?
Some of both.
And throw me up against the refrigerator.
I liked being able to. I like getting at my own crack at doing that. At filming the Will dying scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted to do that, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Put your stamp on it.
Exactly.
All right. Ready for your Can't Miss clip?
Yes, I am.
This doesn't contain arson, I suppose. Okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
I looked up from the picture and I saw her sitting at a table. So I went to her and she said she had something to tell me. So I took her hands in mine and I helped her up. And she sort of like cocked her head, like looked me right in the eyes and said, now was not your time. That I needed to go back to Sonny and Ari and all of you, everyone who loved me and needed me. The last time I looked at her, she was holding me. She's sending me home. To you.
I do that all the time. When I'm in trouble, I imagine Grandma.
No, I wasn't imagining it. It really happened. I had her hands in mine. I talked to her. I held her. I came back because she told me to.
well, it's not like you were on the other side or something, you know? And Grandma's still alive. Hey, I am wrung out. Can I buy you a beer? Robin? What?
I just spoke with Kimberly. Kay, Ma's gone. Kimberly said that she died just a little while ago. In her sleep. She's gone, Kay. She's gone.
What?
Did you see that before? Josh, that was really good.
Yeah. I'm speechless at that.
Well, first of all, the stuff with you was so great too. I mean, that was, and you're like, I saw it. It really that's really so heavy juxtaposed now with the quote unquote reality.
It's given weight by what happens right after that. Yeah.
But you remember, like we talked earlier, that scene in that hospital with you when you had Deidre and Allie, and you're with all the heavy hitters.
Yeah, that's great.
And you're like, I saw her.
Yeah. And of course, Sammy would be like, no, you're wrong. And unfortunately, this is probably the one instance when Will doesn't enjoy being right at the expense of Sammy being wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It's great. So once we learn that Caroline has passed, Will decides, the writer that he is, to write an article on his beloved Caroline.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the few things that Will feels like he's good at. He feels like a competent writer, and it's his way of, paying tribute and saying thank you and sort of immortalizing her, because, memories fade, but, that story that he writes will last forever as long as there's the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Chandler, thank you so much. I know you have to get back to set.
Yes.
And you can watch Chandler on episodes of Days of Our Lives streaming on NBC.com and the NBC app.